The tears flowed freely down Sarah Thompson's face as she watched her daughter Emma's hands flutter with excitement, communicating more joy than she had seen in months. Across the table, Michael Reynolds' fingers danced in response, his weathered face creasing with a genuine smile as he signed back to her 12-year-old daughter. In that moment, surrounded by the festive glow of the company Christmas party, Sarah realized that sometimes the greatest gifts come from the most unexpected places. If this story touches your heart, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more heartwarming true stories that remind us of our shared humanity. Your support helps us continue sharing these moments that might otherwise go untold. Sarah Thompson had always been known for her impeccable organization skills. As the marketing director at Meridian Advertising, she orchestrated multi-million-dollar campaigns with military precision. Her team respected her sharp mind and unwavering dedication. What they didn't see were the nights she spent learning sign language from YouTube videos, the IEP meetings she squeezed between conference calls, or the tears she sometimes shed in her car before composing herself and walking into the office. Emma had been born with profound hearing loss, a fact Sarah and her ex-husband discovered when Emma was 11 months old. The marriage hadn't survived the strain of raising a child with special needs, or rather, her husband hadn't. He'd moved across the country 3 years ago, his visits becoming increasingly sporadic until they ceased altogether. Sarah had learned to be mother, father, interpreter, and advocate all at once. December was always the hardest month. While other parents shared videos of their children singing in holiday concerts, Sarah watched Emma struggle to feel included in a world designed for the hearing. This year had been particularly challenging. Emma's usual interpreter had moved away, and finding a replacement during the holiday season had proven impossible. When Sarah's babysitter canceled last minute on the night of the company Christmas party, she faced a decision. Missing the event wasn't an option, not when she was up for the promotion to senior director. Taking Emma along seemed equally impossible. How would her daughter navigate a room full of strangers who couldn't communicate with her? "We'll make it work, sweetheart," Sarah promised as she helped Emma into her emerald green dress. "Just an hour, maybe 2. I'll keep my phone out so we can text." Emma's expression remained doubtful, but she nodded, her dark curls bouncing against her shoulders. The hotel ballroom was a winter wonderland of silver and blue decorations. Colleagues clustered around high-top tables, nursing glasses of champagne and sharing office gossip. Sarah felt Emma's hand tighten in hers as they entered. She squeezed back reassuringly, then led her daughter to their assigned table, feeling the weight of curious glances. "Sarah. You made it," called Denise from accounting, her smile faltering slightly when she noticed Emma. "And you brought your daughter?" "Yes, this is Emma," Sarah said, signing simultaneously. "My babysitter canceled last minute." Emma offered a small wave, her eyes already scanning the room for escape routes. Dinner was exactly as Sarah had feared. Her colleagues made polite but awkward attempts at inclusion, speaking too loudly, a common misconception, or avoiding eye contact altogether. Emma retreated further into herself, focusing on her plate and occasionally texting Sarah questions about when they could leave. It was during the dessert course that Sarah noticed Michael Reynolds watching them from across the table. He was one of the newer account managers, hired 6 months ago. Quiet, efficient, and intensely private, Michael was known for being excellent with clients but reserved with colleagues. Sarah knew he was a single father but little else about his personal life. What happened next would change everything. As the CEO began his annual holiday address, Emma's fork clattered to the floor. When she bent to retrieve it, her water glass tipped over, sending ice water cascading across the pristine white tablecloth and directly onto the silk dress of Vanessa Perkins, the VP of Client Relations. "Oh my God!" Vanessa shrieked, jumping up. Emma, seeing the commotion but unable to hear it, looked up in horror. Her face crumpled as she realized what had happened. Before Sarah could intervene, Emma was pushing back her chair, preparing to flee. Then Michael's hands began to move. "It's okay," he signed fluently. Accidents happen. No one is angry with you. Emma froze, her eyes widening in disbelief as she found someone else at the table who spoke her language. You know sign language, she signed back, her movements tentative. Michael nodded, his hands forming the words, yes. My wife was deaf. Would you like me to help explain? Emma glanced at her mother, who was watching the exchange with astonishment, then nodded. Michael calmly signed to Emma while speaking aloud to Vanessa, explaining it was an accident while simultaneously assuring Emma that everything was fine. The situation diffused immediately, with Vanessa's annoyance melting into embarrassment at her overreaction. I didn't realize, Vanessa murmured to Sarah. I'm so sorry. But Sarah barely heard her. She was watching her daughter's face transform as Michael signed a joke about his own clumsiness at last year's party. For the first time that evening, Emma laughed, a real laugh that reached her eyes. As the speeches continued, Michael moved to sit closer to Emma, his hands translating the CEO's remarks. Sarah watched, a lump forming in her throat, as her daughter leaned forward eagerly, finally included in the conversation around her. When the formal portion of the evening concluded and music began playing, Sarah approached Michael. Thank you, she said, the words inadequate for the gift he had given her daughter. I can't tell you what that meant to her. To me. Michael shrugged, a gesture more humble than dismissive. I'm glad I could help. It can be lonely being the only non-hearing person in a room. How did you learn to sign so well? Sarah asked. A shadow crossed his face. My wife, Kate, lost her hearing after bacterial meningitis when our daughter Lily was 2. We all learned together. Kate passed away 3 years ago, but Lily and I still sign at home to honor her. The pieces clicked into place, why this quiet, competent man kept to himself, why he seemed to understand the isolation Sarah sometimes felt. I'm sorry for your loss, Sarah said. Would it be okay if Emma and I joined you? She's having such a good time now. The evening transformed. Michael introduced Emma to his 9-year-old daughter Lily, who had been quietly reading a book in the hotel lobby under the supervision of Michael's elderly mother. The two girls instantly connected, their hands flying in conversation while Michael and Sarah watched. Lily doesn't get to use sign much outside our home anymore, Michael explained. Her face lights up when she gets to use her first language. Emma's never met another hearing child who signs, Sarah replied. Look at them. The girls were giggling now, clearly sharing secrets in the private language that excluded the adults around them. Something tight in Sarah's chest began to loosen for the first time in years. As the evening drew to a close, Michael hesitated. There's a holiday event for the deaf community next weekend, crafts, games, Santa who signs. Lily and I go every year. Would you and Emma like to join us? Sarah looked at her daughter, animated and engaged in a way she rarely saw in public spaces. We'd love to, she said. That Christmas party marked the beginning of a profound change for both families. The deaf community event led to a Saturday afternoon at the Science Museum, which led to a winter hike, which led to movie nights with captioning and dinners where everyone signed at the table. January brought challenges. Office politics became complicated when Sarah was chosen for the promotion over Vanessa, who began suggesting to others that Sarah was receiving special treatment due to her personal connection with Michael. Some colleagues were supportive of the growing friendship between their families, while others seemed uncomfortable with Emma's deafness and the way it changed group dynamics when she was included. Sarah found herself faced with difficult conversations, both at work and with Emma. Are you and Mr. Michael dating? Emma asked one evening, her signs tentative. We're friends, Sarah signed back carefully. Is that okay with you? Emma considered this. He's nice. And funny. But Dad just left. What if Michael leaves too? The question pierced Sarah's heart. Friendship doesn't mean someone will stay forever, but it doesn't mean they'll leave either. We can just enjoy having good friends, can't we? Emma nodded slowly, but Sarah recognized the fear behind her daughter's eyes, the same fear she carried herself. Meanwhile, Michael faced his own struggles. His mother's health was declining, threatening the childcare arrangement that allowed him to work full-time. Lily was thriving with her new friendship with Emma but had begun asking painful questions about her mother's death that Michael wasn't prepared to answer. February brought a snowstorm that shut down the city. Schools closed for 3 days, and Sarah found herself struggling to manage client deadlines while entertaining a bored and increasingly fractious Emma. On the second day, her doorbell rang. Michael and Lily stood on her porch, laden with board games, art supplies, and ingredients for hot chocolate. "We thought you might need reinforcements," Michael said, stamping snow from his boots. The children disappeared into Emma's room while Sarah and Michael worked side by side at her dining table, occasionally trading notes on client presentations or sharing headphones to review a video campaign. "How do you do it all?" Sarah asked during a break. "Work, parenting, keeping it all together." Michael's laugh held more weariness than humor. "Who says I'm keeping it together? My mother can't watch Lily much longer, my house is a disaster, and last week I sent Lily to school with a lunch that was just crackers and cookies because I forgot to go grocery shopping." "At least you packed lunch," Sarah countered. "Last month I forgot it was my day for classroom snacks. 30 hungry first graders with nothing to eat at snack time." The teacher's email was pointed. They laughed, the shared understanding of their struggles creating a bond that went beyond workplace camaraderie. As winter thawed into spring, the two families fell into a comfortable rhythm. Sunday brunches became a tradition, with Lily teaching Emma the latest TikTok dances while Michael cooked and Sarah set the table. They navigated parent-teacher conferences, work crises, and childhood illnesses as a unit, filling the gaps in each other's support systems. But it wasn't always smooth sailing. When Michael's mother needed to move into assisted living, the childcare crisis nearly derailed everything. Sarah stepped in, restructuring her work schedule to accommodate Lily after school 3 days a week. Her team grumbled about the reduced hours, and the promotion she'd fought so hard for seemed suddenly precarious. "You don't have to do this," Michael insisted when he found out about the workplace tension. "Lily and I will figure something out." "That's what friends do," Sarah replied firmly. "They show up." The turning point came at Emma's school concert in May. The deaf education program was performing songs in sign language, accompanied by the school choir. Emma had been practicing for weeks but had confided to Michael that she was nervous about performing. On the night of the concert, Sarah sat anxiously in the auditorium, scanning the crowd. Michael and Lily had promised to be there, but their seats remained empty as the lights dimmed. Emma's face fell as she scanned the audience during the opening number, clearly searching for them. Just as Sarah began texting, the auditorium doors opened. Michael and Lily slipped in, followed by at least 15 of their colleagues from Meridian Advertising. Denise from accounting, the entire creative team, even Vanessa had come. As Emma spotted them, her hands faltered momentarily before her smile blazed bright enough to light the room. Later, Sarah learned that Michael's car had broken down, and he'd called the office in desperation. Without hesitation, a caravan had formed to ensure they made it to Emma's performance. "Why did you all come?" Sarah asked afterward, emotion making her voice unsteady. Denise shrugged. "Because Emma's part of the Meridian family now. And because you and Michael have shown us all what it means to really support each other." By the following Christmas, everything had changed. Sarah's division had launched a campaign featuring deaf models using ASL, inspired by Emma and receiving national recognition for inclusion. Michael had been promoted to senior account manager, his natural empathy making him exceptionally attuned to client needs. The company had started ASL classes for interested employees, taught by a deaf instructor Emma had recommended from her school. The annual Christmas party that year was held at a venue chosen specifically for its acoustics and lighting, considerations that benefited deaf attendees. When Emma entered, there was no awkwardness, no isolation, just colleagues greeting her in sign language with varying levels of proficiency but universal enthusiasm. Sarah watched her daughter move confidently through the room, belonging in a way that would have seemed impossible just 12 months earlier. "Quite a difference from last year," Michael said, joining her with 2 glasses of champagne. Sarah took the offered glass, thinking about all that had transpired since that first dinner. "I never expected any of this," she admitted. "I was just trying to survive another work event. And I was just trying to help a child who reminded me of what Lily went through after Kate died," Michael replied. "I never imagined we'd end up here." "Where exactly is here?" Sarah asked, the question encompassing far more than their physical location. Michael's eyes crinkled at the corners as he smiled. "Here is family, maybe not the traditional kind, but real family all the same. The kind that shows up, that learns each other's languages, that makes room at the table." Across the room, Emma and Lily were teaching the CEO's grandson how to sign "Merry Christmas," all 3 children laughing as he fumbled the movements. "Family," Sarah repeated, the word filling her with warmth. "I like the sound of that." That night, after tucking an exhausted but happy Emma into bed, Sarah found herself reflecting on the journey of the past year. From isolation to belonging, from struggling alone to sharing burdens, from fear to trust, the transformation had been remarkable for both her and Emma. What had begun with a simple act of kindness, a stranger's hands forming words her daughter could understand, had blossomed into something that had healed wounds she hadn't even recognized were still bleeding. Michael and Lily had shown them that family wasn't defined by blood or legal documents, but by the daily choice to be present, to communicate in whatever language was needed, and to make space for each other's whole selves. As the snow fell gently outside Emma's window, Sarah sent up a silent prayer of gratitude for spilled water glasses, for people who learn languages not their own, and for second chances at belonging that come when you least expect them. If this story touched your heart, please remember to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us continue sharing stories that remind us all of our capacity for connection across the barriers that seem to divide us. Sometimes the most meaningful conversations happen in silence, with hands that speak volumes about the love we have to give.